256.0106 from 1 right, cleared for takeoff.
1 right, clear to go, yeah, 256.
Cleared 4461, 1 right, left and white.
Hey everyone, I'm Jason Rosewell, and this is FlightCast, the Infinite Flight podcast. This is a show about the mobile flight simulator Infinite Flight, which you can find in the App Store or on Google Play. Today on episode 20 of FlightCast, I've asked Mark, Tyler, and Joe to join me, and we have a few things to talk about. We're going to go back to the basics and chat a little bit about what makes airplanes fly in the first place. We'll also get a little sneak peek into some of the Infinite Flight updates that are coming out soon from Tyler, and we'll chat about the landing contest that starts today. Welcome, guys.
Hey.
Hey, thanks for having us.
What's up?
Hi, Joe.
Hi,
Well, I'm not going that far. I'm not going to say thanks. But yeah.
Hello, Joseph.
You're welcome for having me here.
So, guys, I've been taking a little bit of a break from my mod position in
We hadn't noticed.
Yeah, I hadn't
IFATC.
noticed at all.
Did you guys miss me?
You were gone?
When did you leave?
Is Joshy okay without me?
Oh, he's blossoming.
He's blossoming.
I told him he was intolerable 99% of the time, and the other 1% he wasn't there yesterday. So
Exactly.
That's what Tristan told me before I took my break.
yeah.
Well, as long as you guys are keeping it real, I'll be back soon.
Good.
Well, we're trying.
Life kind of gets in the way sometimes.
I'll
Can't
consider
wait.
allowing it.
Ooh.
Yeah. Since we didn't even know you were gone, we can't wait for you to get back.
Yeah, square bracket. Can't wait.
Just make sure you
Yeah.
contact the recruiter first, and all the details are on the community forum as far as like what you need to do to get in, and from there.
Touche. Tyler, since you'd like to talk, it seems like, we have some cool new features coming out in the next update of Infinite Flight, so what can we expect to see coming?
Yeah, so for this update, we focused a little bit more on functionality rather than just adding a lot of flashy stuff. A lot of the advanced controllers and any of the other controllers on Infinite Flight know that there's a few things we needed that would greatly help just day-to-day operations or when it gets busy. So one of the first things we're adding is strip management. So right now when you have aircraft departing your airspace or they might just stay on your frequency, you have all of these strips, and maybe 50% of them aren't even being used. So now we actually have the ability to just swipe right, and you can actually delete that strip from your strip bay, which is right there on the right side of your screen when you're working like tower or approach. And then if you
It's
want
not
to add
the
that
other
strip
type
back,
of... Never mind, go on. Sorry, I interrupted.
Nice one, Joe.
if you want to
Thanks.
add it back, you can just go on the map page and you can tap the aircraft, and it'll allow you to reinstate the strip. So for like Friday night flights and stuff, when it's super busy, you can actually manage your strips a little bit better, and you can also drag and move them around. So if you want to, like when I'm working air traffic at work, I like to move my strips so that the one at the top of the bay is the one that's next to land, and then it goes down from there. So you can actually drag and move your strips around. And the next big thing we have coming is holding patterns. This is something we've been talking about for a while, but instead of the controller having to give you manual, 180-degree turns, they'll actually be able to put you in a holding pattern to where the pilot can do those 1-minute legs, make a 180-degree turn, and another 1-minute leg. And we can also give altitude changes and stuff like that while they're in the...
How does that work, Tyler? Is that if they put you in a holding pattern, will the pilot have a holding pattern button, or will the air traffic controller kind of have some automatic cues for them, or how does that work?
So right now, if we want to put the aircraft in a holding pattern, we can either instruct them to do a present position hold. So right where they're at, it'll automatically tune into your flight plan. So if you have a flight plan and you're coming up on a fix, it tells you, turn left this heading in 1 minute. So it's going to look like that. It'll keep your current flight plan, but when we give you that hold, it'll tell you, turn left heading 360 in 1 minute. So we can either give the present position, or we can actually point to a fix. So let's say over, Los Angeles VOR or Oceanside VOR, we can actually have them hold over that. So
nice.
It'll be up to the pilots to make that 180-degree turn, but it'll show on your flight plan at the top of your screen when you need to make the turn.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you'll still have to make the turn yourself.
Right. So there'll be, some responsibility on the pilot and some on the controller, which to me is good because sometimes it's like the auto lands where you just press a button and all the work's done. But if we give a holding pattern, the pilot still gets to stay engaged. It's something different, so it kind of makes the flight a little bit more interesting because it could happen at any time depending on the volume of traffic or if things are just getting clogged up on arrival.
Okay. Do you know if the air traffic controller will see on the strip that they've already put that person into a holding pattern?
I don't think I've covered that, but that might be a good idea just to have a quick note so that we know they're doing that. So yeah, I'll add that to the list.
Yeah, I believe a holding pattern racetrack will actually pop up
right
on the map, and the pilot will actually fly that as part of their flight plan.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So they'll just have to follow the racetrack, which would be fairly simple. And around that time, of course, I'll put out a tutorial on how to properly fly in a holding pattern. And it's going to be great because when you have those people who are 10 miles out and call inbound, you can actually send them onto that.
Right. So that was part of the intention.
If they're way too high.
Yeah, if they're at 30,000 feet, we can put them in a holding pattern. So it'll say, Southwest 123, hold present position, left turns, descend and maintain 3,000. So they're going to be in that holding pattern, but they still get that descent the entire time so that they're not having to be vectored way out of the way. And like Mark said, we'll both have a tutorial released with the update so that everybody's kind of on the same page and we can start out with everybody knowing what to do.
Beauty.
Yep.
That's going to be great.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be real good. It's going to be helpful.
Maybe Matt can add a little, the little oval racetrack with the arrows on it just on the flight strip, just to let the ATC remind them that they're in a holding pattern.
Well,
Sounds
I'm
like
still
something.
trying to get the turn indicators to pop up on the screen, like when you're assigned left traffic, right traffic, that a left arrow will pop up for left traffic, a right arrow will pop up for right traffic.
That's like training wheels.
That's right.
Because it's really hard to check the ATC log if you can't remember.
Well, it's not even that. It's the left from right.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll put out a video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Tyler, anything else coming up that we need to know about?
Well, we already talked about relocating the sequencing. So if you've ever talked to me about joining ATC, you've heard me harp on sequencing. So now instead of it being buried under pattern instructions, it's like all the way at the bottom of the list is number 11. It's actually going to be number 2 on the main list. So you have your clearances, sequencing, and then pattern instructions. So we can jump right to sequencing whenever your pattern's full and you're not having to keep scrolling through all these lists and stuff. Another thing that we're adding is a broadcast message that'll say, attention all aircraft, please stand by, controller change in progress. So a lot of times when we have, one person stepping down, another person stepping in, it's absolute chaos. So that kind of gives people the heads up like, hey, stand by for, 10 seconds while we just swap out controllers.
Beauty.
Yeah.
Will the goat be added in this next update?
It will. You'll see it in the hills of Hawaii, stuff like that.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Maybe it can pop up from the bottom of the screen once in a while, just with like random quotes.
That'd be awesome.
I can do the
The world
quotes.
is around.
Don't forget. Don't forget your 30-degree intercept, you bunch of snakes.
That's right.
You demons.
That'd be great. A goat.
Absolutely.
Fly direct to hell.
Joe likes to make sure that I have as much editing to do as possible.
That was going to be a really good Tinder joke, but it didn't, nobody would get it. So these people don't know what Tinder is unless they're ordering it on a kid's menu.
Oh, man.
But then there's that struggle of having to count 6, 8, or 12.
That was
I know.
good. Joe was just, he was thinking while Tyler was rambling on about holding patterns. Joe's thinking, how can I turn that into a joke? Oh, I
this
got
is
it.
only
Chicken tenders.
Only mildly offensive.
Yeah. Good. Well, that stuff sounds great. And I've heard rumors about the fact that pilots should be careful when the ATC jumps off and you think it's a good time to just start running amok and flying wherever you want. Make sure there's no mod flying around near you. Maybe I'll just let that hang out there.
There you go.
Absolutely.
So, guys, we have Mark as our pilot community manager these days, and we had him on the last
believe
episode.
he's evangelist.
Oh yeah, evangelist, the pilot community evangelist. So, Mark, how's that going? Why don't you give us a little update? Where are we at?
Well, it's going well. I'm trying to, plan ahead on the events. I've got about the next month planned out, especially for the Friday night flights. Have a Air Canada flight coming up, but the details most likely be on Slack, so you'll miss it. The tutorials, I've been getting a lot of positive feedback on the weekly tutorials that I've been posting on Mondays. So things are going really well. People have been contacting me. I have learned the forum. I've been on the forum more in the past 3 weeks than I have since the forum's been up.
Wow, congratulations.
And thank you. But it's actually been really good. A lot of people have contacted me with questions, and I've seen a lot of people who are really wanting to learn. And that's one thing I will say, is that the majority of the members are actually wanting to learn how to do things the right way, which is good. That's a great sign to see. So things are going exceptionally well. Just working on some new video tutorials that Tyler and I are trying to get completed, and hopefully have up and running by this weekend or the first of next week, and then start posting regular video tutorials to help people out.
Awesome.
But it's going well.
Beauty.
Very busy.
Tyler says this is your last day. It's not going well.
Yeah. He really doesn't want to get into a game of wits.
He said it shouldn't take 3 weeks to do a 15-second video.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, so guys, back in our Christmas episode, we mentioned that we'd be doing a landing competition this year, and Mark was razzing me earlier via text that it's about time that we actually did this, since we're almost into May. So we're going to, and this is going to be a fun one. So head over to flightcast.audio/contest for full contest rules and how to enter. So the objective will be to fly a straight-in approach over the mountain range at Little Hands in the San Francisco region into runway 18 in a Cessna 208. And that's a challenging approach for anyone who's already tried it. Tyler, you did post a video of that back in December, I think, on IFFG. Mm-hmm. And so Tyler's posted a new landing for us with kind of what we're looking for in terms of how to make that approach. It's a difficult one, but I know you guys can do it. The winner of this will receive a 1-month free subscription to Infinite Flight Live. And don't worry, if you already have a year subscription, your renewal date will be extended by a month, auto-magically. So that's it.
Auto-magically.
Yeah. I'm going to have these monkeys help me judge it. And
Did Smithley teach you that word?
I believe it's pronounced Smythly.
Oh.
Learn something every day.
Yeah.
Isn't that the dude on The Simpsons?
I think so.
Smiley? Or
I think you're thinking of Smithers.
Smither? Oh, maybe. Okay.
Yeah, so that's it. I'm excited about this contest.
It should be interesting.
It's always nice to give away some free stuff.
Yep. It should be interesting.
If anything, that guy that makes the
planning.
community videos on the forum, he's going to have some good material to work with.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. If we just see a plane sitting there.
I'm surprised he
Well,
hasn't
Are you,
included any
you
flight.
gonna have any restrictions on like wind or anything like that on it?
Yeah, good question. If you head over to the contest page, all of the details are there, including you'll have to do set your wind direction. This has to be in solo mode. Wind will be set to 180 at 5. And
Shouldn't be a problem for most people.
what?
No, it
Following
shouldn't be bad.
instructions?
It's right down the runway, so
Yeah, the wind is runway heading, so yeah, you'll be flying straight into the wind, and this would actually be probably a little easier with more wind, but we're gonna keep it at 5 knots.
are we allowed to give hints, or should we just let people figure it out on their own?
We had to figure it out on our own.
That's true. Tyler, you did give a little bit of a hint in your video description about the the stall horn.
If you don't hear the stall horn, you're wrong. I'll just leave it at that.
You can overshoot for sure.
That's right.
Yeah, so don't overshoot the runway. Don't hit the mountain.
It has to be full stop. We gotta stop.
Full stop.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
without going off the end of the runway.
And even though you can't technically break your landing gear in infinite flight, those will be kind of things we're looking for as well. Is if you land too hard, you're not going to win.
I think I broke the front, but that's okay.
Yeah, well, you can't enter.
That's right.
It's so great to be able to track flights live and find places to open frequencies where the traffic is in infinite flight. Cam is here to tell us a bit more about live flight.
I think you pretty much nailed it, Jason.
Awesome, but there is more to it than just flight tracking.
Indeed. Have you tried flying with a joystick on your iPad yet? The AutoNav feature in Connect is pretty sweet too, I must admit.
So what's coming next for live flight?
You'll have to wait and see, but let's just say flying on infinite flight will never be the same again. Go and check out what we have out now though. You easily spend countless hours tracking flights in infinite flight live whilst doing some proper joystick flying.
Thanks, Cam. In the meantime, everyone, head over to liveflightapp.com for your next flight. Now back to the podcast. Cool. Well, guys, how about we actually chat about something useful on this show for once?
Okay.
You guys into that?
Sure.
I want to hear what kind of
I guess
stuff.
since we're here.
Yeah, I want to hear what kind of stuff Mark makes up on this topic. We're going to talk a little bit about lift. So let's get back to some aviation basics. When you get your PPL or your CPL, you have to learn about lift. And I think it makes sense to just get into a little bit of that for our infinite flight pilots as well. Mark, have you ever heard something called the Bernoulli's principle?
I sure have.
Did you learn that when you were in your flight
Absolutely
training?
Yeah, actually, I learned it before the flight training, but it was definitely something you had to learn during flight training. And to understand it, or to understand the components of flight, of course, you got to know the Bernoulli's principle.
Right. So Bernoulli's principle can be used to calculate the lift of force on an airfoil. Joe, what's an airfoil?
It's a foil that lifts with air.
Mm-hmm. Tyler, you want to take a shot at that?
No, I think you nailed it. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So an airfoil can be a wing, right? The cross section of an
Oh
aircraft.
yeah, wing. That's what I meant.
Right.
That's what I meant.
So for example, if the air is flowing past the top surface of an aircraft wing, and it's moving faster than the air below the bottom surface, then Bernoulli's principle implies that the pressure on the surfaces of the wing will be lower above than below. And then what happens, Mark?
It generates lift. When you have the
Exactly.
higher pressure below the wing, you have the lower pressure on the top, you have the higher pressure below. That is going to actually create the lift of the wing, which will in turn lift the aircraft. And for the record, it takes a lot more lift to get Skyhawk Heavy off the ground than it does, say, Tyler when he's flying.
Right.
Just saying.
Or Jay, for example. So
Like a little jockey.
whether it's Skyhawk Heavy flying a 172, or whether it's our friend Arnaut flying his A380, what do we need if it's heavy? If we have more weight, we need more lift, so we add more speed, of course, and thrust.
Mm-hmm.
So
And need more
the pressure,
runway.
as Mark said, the pressure difference results in an upwards lifting force. So it's important to note, though, that Bernoulli's principle does not explain why the air flows faster at the top of the wing and slower past the underside. So that's where you get into aerodynamic lift.
Yep, and you can actually Google it, and there are tons of pictures, I'm sure, available on Google Images where you can see diagrams of how it works.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but it's one of the four components of flight, and since we're getting back to the basics, let's just break it down. The four components of flight are, as we know now, one is lift, which is extremely important when flying. 2 is thrust. 3 is drag. 4 is weight.
All
That's
right.
the four components of flight.
And actually, Mark, since we're on it, this will be for Mark and Tyler. Last episode, Mark, you mentioned the pilot's six-pack. that does not refer to the rock hard condition of my abs. It instead refers to what, Mark?
The six-pack is basically referring to the main instruments that you focus on as a pilot that are within, right there in the cockpit, easily for you to see. Talking about scanning those 6 instruments is pretty important.
So I actually don't know what's in the six-pack, and I don't have it on my screen. This is just a question that I thought we could maybe expand on since you mentioned it last time, but let me just take a shot at it here. So I'm guessing that we've got airspeed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Altitude.
Attitude.
Don't really need that, but yeah.
It's in there, though, isn't it? Or no? Or is it attitude?
So you have your
No, it's
airspeed, and then you have your attitude.
Okay.
And then you're going to have your altimeter, which is giving you your actual altitude. And then the bottom left is going to be your vertical speed. Nope, I got that wrong. Bottom right is going to be your vertical speed. And then you also have your heading indicator and your turn coordinator. So that turn coordinator is going to be on the bottom left usually.
Okay. And there's no nothing else engine related besides airspeed?
Nope,
I guess that
not
wouldn't
that's
even
part
be
of the
engine related.
six-pack. That's just
Okay.
the standard instruments. And then everything else kind of surrounds it.
Okay, nice.
Yep. So your airspeed, your attitude indicator, or basically it's your artificial horizon,
Right.
altimeter, turn indicator, heading indicator, and then your vertical speed.
Cool. Nice. All right, so that's that side note. Back to Bernoulli's principle for a second. Guys, if you want to try out, this is a cool experiment that I've actually done with my boys, is you take a hairdryer and a ping pong ball or something similar. We didn't actually have a ping pong ball. We had a small ball that was about the same size and weight. You turn on the hairdryer to full blast and you point the airflow of the hairdryer straight up. And then you can gently take the ping pong ball, place it in the airflow, and it'll balance there. And what's cool is you can actually, this is the cool part, is you can actually tilt the hairdryer a little bit so that the airflow is not pointing straight up. And I'm not sure at which degree it will fall, but you can actually still balance the ball and it will follow the airflow as you tilt it. So it's pretty cool. So what's happening there is that the air from the hairdryer will push the ping pong ball up, obviously, but then the force of gravity will push it down until both forces are equal. So the ping pong ball stays within the column of air from the hairdryer because of air pressure. So the air coming from the hairdryer is moving faster than the air around it, and that this also means that it has a lower air pressure than the air around it. And we have Mr. Bernoulli to thank for that little concept. So it's cool.
You get
Just check it
bored
out.
up in Canada, don't you?
They do. Well, all the times they're snowed in.
We when we force mandatory screens off, we have to think of things to do. So we look for teachable moments, and what better way to do that than talk about how flying works?
Are there any Mythbuster fans here? Anybody watched Mythbusters?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so they actually did one about the airplane on a conveyor belt to see if it would actually take off. And this was another thing that kind of goes along these lines of, it wasn't generating lift because it was just, it's the air moving over the wings, not, the wheels over the ground. So it's kind of interesting. If anybody's interested in that, you can watch that episode of Mythbusters.
Oh yeah, right. That makes sense.
And it kind of ties in with this pretty well.
They hated each other. They don't like each other.
Really?
Yeah, and all the time that they did the show, they never had a meal together.
Oh, you're talking about Mythbusters?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about us. Okay.
Well, that too, but
Thank goodness we're thousands of miles away from each other.
it's a little side fact there. But yeah, they don't like each other.
Well, that's sad.
No.
Oh.
Sorry.
like-
We're gonna flip San Francisco upside down.
It's like me and Tristan. We're forced to hang out together, but
Wait till we talk about Santa.
Oof.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Infinite Flight Mythbusters.
yeah.
No, but after watching that show, you would think that they're like really good friends.
Yeah, you would.
But-
It's good showmanship, I guess. That's what it boils down to.
But they're not. I mean, they have a mutual respect for each other, but they don't like each other. It's based, it'd be like if you and Tristan had a TV show together.
I like Tristan.
Oh, okay. It'd be like if you and Ian had a show together.
Oh, Lord.
That's a better example.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get off of that topic. So yeah, that's a little bit about lift. I wonder if actually my friend did a little project in physics class once where he talked about something similar to your example, Tyler, and that was you guys remember the show Knight Rider?
Oh my Lord, yes.
When Michael Knight would drive Kit onto the back of that semi, the debate was, would he actually be able to do that without spinning his tires as soon as they hit the ramp?
They did that on Mythbusters too.
Oh, they did? Wow, I missed that episode. So what was the outcome? Do you know?
I don't remember. I just remember they did it.
I might have to go look it up. And the whole time I'm watching Mythbusters now, I'm going to be like, oh, Joe, now I know these guys don't like each other.
Yeah, you just won't even be able to watch
sorry.
the show the same anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad.
I'll tell you another cool experiment, but you got to be careful. And I'll send you guys the video. But it's there was a guy that made a paper airplane and actually made flaps to where the plane would actually turn, but just used a basic paper airplane, and turned on one of the eyes on his stove, and let it heat up, which of course produces heat rising. And he threw the paper airplane in the air above it, and it just basically sat there and did a constant 360 over and over and over again.
No way.
It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Nice.
That
I'll have to
seems
find
like
the
a
video.
horrible idea.
Very dangerous. I just want to put out a little disclaimer to FlightCast listeners. I'm not suggesting that you go try this, and if you do, you're doing it at your own risk.
If you do it at Mark's house.
Do it at Mark's own risk. Yeah.
Get your parents' permission.
Mark, I think that
Bring
should be
your
one of your
permission
videos.
slip.
Although I don't know
Well,
if
I think you should do that.
I don't know if FDS is going to want to pay you to do that.
No.
Probably not.
It'll
I'll
be on
probably
the
just
house.
put that on my. Yeah, I'll do that one on my own channel.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, do it. All right, guys. What else should we add to this? Some cricket noises, I suppose.
Yep.
Yeah, you could add some cricket noises right there. That'd be a good addition.
Okay.
Did you guys talk about the angle of attack being another, I guess, way that you can generate lift, not lick. Generate lift.
No, Joe's going to talk about how you generate lick a little later.
That's got
By
to be.
using angle of attack.
We go back
Yeah.
to landing strips.
Yeah, so basically
No.
the wings don't sit flat, so they're angled to push air down as it passes the wings. So once your wings, once you adjust that angle of attack, they're forcing the air to go downwards. So it decreases the air pressure above the wings, and it puts all the pressure below the wings, and you can also get lift that way.
Which, you know what, a good test for that, or a good just a way to test that is like for Smythley when he's riding in the back seat in his booster seat of his parents' car, and they unlock the child lock for the window. He can stick his hand out the window and let the air go over his hand, but then as he turns his hand up, he can feel his hand, the air go under his hand, which will actually cause his hand to go up.
I don't think his tiny little arm will make it out of the window, though.
Well, with the booster seat, he probably can.
From the center seat, I don't think it'll make it all the way out the window.
Well, he'll be in the wake turbulence from the rear view mirror on the outside, so...
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the Icon aircraft?
Mm-mm.
The A5?
Iconic.
Yeah, check this out. Go to iconaircraft.com when you guys have a chance. It's a aircraft that is based on angle of attack. So the main instrument on the instrument panel looks like you're in a car when you're sitting in the
Oh wow,
in the
this thing
cockpit.
looks crazy.
Yeah, it is. And it's based on the principle that if you keep the angle of attack within certain parameters, in the green zone, basically, the aircraft flies. So everything that you do based like speed, bank angle, attitude, everything affects that angle of attack meter and the, I guess, ability for the aircraft to fly. That's pretty sweet. You should check it out.
This looks like it's like the Ferrari of general aviation.
Yeah, man. Can you imagine? Look
They
at
have
that.
a picture
Look at
here
that cockpit.
where the guy has it on a trailer. And
Oh,
is just
wow.
Driving
Yeah, that
to
cockpit is crazy.
Yeah. And it's
Oh yeah, man, that's awesome.
Joe, you're not looking at it, are you?
No, I'm not. No.
No, you know he's not looking at it.
And it's amphibious too, which is even cooler.
Max speed 95 knots, calibrated airspeed.
And don't worry,
Go
Joshua, it has a
430
parachute.
nautical miles. Wow.
Yeah.
It needs 700 feet to take off, 530 feet to land. It's pretty
So I
impressive.
think that the four of us should pool our resources and buy one of these bad boys.
I'm in.
All right.
What,
I guess
a model?
I should get my pilot's license first.
There you go.
Yeah, because Tyler and I are not going to be flying. Well, right now, I'm the only one who can fly y'all anywhere.
That's
I know,
true.
I'm slacking. This pilot's license
Yeah.
is taking forever.
It only fits 2 people.
Tyler
though.
would have to get an endorsement. Oh, well, then I'd have to fly it by myself. I'd have one butt cheek in one seat and one in the other.
There's a bit of a middle space you could occupy.
I'd sit on the console, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's probably enough for today.
Yeah, probably so.
Guys, is there anything else you'd like to add before we go?
The world is around.
Never get old.
Nope.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Oh, not a problem. Enjoyed it.
No problem.
Thanks, Joe.
Hey, love you, man. Miss you.
That was Tyler, Joe, and Mark, and they all joined me today on Skype. Well, thanks as always for listening. If you haven't already, head over to the App Store or Google Play and download Infinite Flight. And don't forget to visit flightcast.audio/contest to enter this month's landing challenge. For more of the podcast, visit our website and be sure to subscribe on iTunes and leave us a great review. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/FlightCastAudio and on Twitter at FlightCastAudio. If you have any ideas for the show, please leave them in the comments. FlightCast is brought to you by Linkhouse Media on the web at linkhousemedia.com. We can always use your financial support to keep us going, and now a new way to do that is to head over to flightcast.audio/shop and get your very own FlightCast hat, t-shirt, and other accessories. You can also donate by visiting flightcast.audio and clicking the yellow Donate button in the sidebar. To cover the fine print, FlightCast is not affiliated with Infinite Flight or Flying Development Studio. I'm Jason Rosewell. Thanks for listening, and happy landings. We're going to get back to the basics and chat a little bit about what makes airplanes fly. Mark was razzing me earlier today because I told him, hey, we're going to launch the...
Okay.
Someone just take
so
a
we're taking
screenshot.
A picture now? Good. What the hell?
Who was that?
Somebody's on Tinder, aren't they?
Mark's not saying anything. It was him.
Yeah, he's sending nudes during your podcast.
Put your phones on vibrate, dum-dums.
Try to hit this landing.
Oh, great. Honestly, I don't want to take hours to edit this.
You had the wrong 3 people on then.
Ugh. Into runway 18 in a Cessna 208, and let me tell you that
Runway
is a...
18, not 18. It's runway 18.
Oh, sorry.
The evangelist has spoken. Carry on.
And he said, you got to land on 18.
There's a small handful of people that's gonna find this funny.
Others are going to be sitting there scratching their head. What
Yeah.
are they talking about?
Why is James Brown doing FlightCast?
So, wow, I don't even know where to go from there. What were we talking about? Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Anything else you want to say before we get going?
Oh no, we'll save it all.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll wait till you hit record.
Okay. Here we go.
This is a bunch of horse